Alright, this attack seems like it's a way grander scale now, seeing more airships and more mechs. It's a shame we didn't get to see that scale. Like, seriously, just a few shots of people being attacked, running away, could have done a lot. There's a crane in construction outside the arena here because of the damage Amon did when he attacked. You guys made this mask just for the message? How'd you get it up here on Aang's face? Oh, hey, Lieutenant, you survived getting punched by a polar bear dog basically off a cliff? That was funny reading it in the script. I don't usually do these, but that just made me laugh. Oh, and Gary's here too. Must have been let out of prison.
Can you believe Hiroshi? The Avatar's on the run. I'm not running from anyone. Let's go back up there and knock some heads. They'll never know what hit them.
Korra, no, you just had a good moment at the end of the last episode. Why are you undoing it?
You two were gone a while.
We were doing reconnaissance.
I'm gonna sound like a broken record at this point. Yeah, I know, it's annoying. There's not really much else to say. Maybe an obvious one, but this is the same homeless guy that Korra met back in episode 1. So hold on, yeah, you just have an underground shanty town in these weird subterranean tunnels? What are these for?
We didn't even know each other then. And now, I can't imagine my life without you in it. You're the most loyal, brave, and selfless person I've ever known.
I was gonna go on a big tangent about how I don't really see where Mako is coming from, but maybe I do actually, since he phrased it that way. Korra helped him find Bolin that one time, and then when they were gonna be thrown out on the street, she offered a home to them. And those are pretty big moments of loyalty and selflessness, plus they were teammates for a while, so maybe I can see where Mako's feelings are coming from a little bit. I just wish there was a more obvious transition from dismissive to love, and the whole Asami thing wasn't smack dab in the middle to make it even more confusing. I feel like if they just focused on Mako and Korra, they could have had a fun little side story.
You will now be cleansed of your impurity.
Oh, you put a little fucking style on that one.
Next.
Right, so Amon, what's the idea? Kill the benders or cleanse the benders? I'm getting mixed signals.
Coast is clear.
Whoa, he actually means it. This is the coast. No, it's the weird monkey birds again. Where'd you get this spyglass? The shanty town? Don't take their stuff. They barely have any in the first place.
Amon had to know we were coming. So why aren't we meeting any resistance?
Did he? I mean, Tenzin got the message out to you like a millisecond before the phone lines got cut, so he was obviously trying to circumvent any outside help coming in. Alright, Korra, stop trying to score brownie points with me. You didn't have to do it that time.
Water and earthbenders, detonate those mines!
What is that sound?
I get it's for the suspense of the shot, but man, these things must be loud.
Where does Hiroshi find the time to keep inventing new evil machines?
That's an excellent point, Bolin. Let's backtrack to that episode where we found Hiroshi out. I got a whole lot of comments saying that that episode wasn't as contrived as I thought because the whole thing was a setup by Hiroshi. And yes, there may be a moment where Lin might say the whole thing was a setup. And yes, Hiroshi does cry guilty as charged. But every time I've watched this show, I for some reason only thought Lin was referring to when they get told he's out back in his workshop, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense when I think about it even 1% more, so you've got me there. But if the whole entire thing was a setup, like the warehouse dude putting the note in Korra's hand and telling them about the underground facility, I think that makes the episode make even less sense. Why the hell would Hiroshi do that? He's getting away with it scot-free. But now, as Bolin has just stated, he's found out. Where the hell does he get the time and material to manufacture planes and more mechs and blimps? Surely all of his factories would have been abandoned or shut down or seized, and the only timeline we've gotten for Amon's plans were based on Hiroshi's manufacturing going forward without any issues. But now they're attacking with a ton of shit anyway, but I assume the attack force would have been even greater if Hiroshi wasn't on the run for the past however long. Why would Hiroshi blow up his entire life and the manufacturing of weapons and vehicles for his movement when he could have just kept being covert? They had nothing on him just to try and get the jump on Korra and crew. Amon's plans were to not alert anyone to just how big his ambitions were, and that was very clearly stated, but Hiroshi thinks he could just take out the Avatar, the only airbending master, and the chief of police, and no one's gonna say anything? And even on top of that, Hiroshi turns around and is like, whoops, Asami, I never wanted you to find out this way. But yes, you did. If you premeditated all this shit, you knew this is exactly how she was gonna find out. So my understanding of the situation was that this was all just a contrived plot for an episode, rather than Hiroshi purposely ruining his own life, hamstringing his own manufacturing setup, undermining Amon's plans for Korra, downsizing Amon's attack on the city, and possibly ostracizing himself from the only family he has left in the world. That made more sense to me. But if the whole thing was a setup, and he was guilty as charged, then someone is smoking crack here, and it's either Hiroshi or the writers. excuse. And since this attack is happening right now, we might as well get into this as well. The only reasonable explanation for Amon not making a murder of Korra was that he wanted Hiroshi's manufacturing to be complete before launching his attack. That makes sense, but how logically does Amon ever win this situation? He says he doesn't want to take Korra's bending because he doesn't want the other nations coming in and crushing his movement. But now he's fighting the united forces. There's people from each nation in those forces. So basically, you've declared war on the planet. I get that you've got like a lot of mechs and a lot of airships, but if every army in the world marches up to your non-bending utopia, you're just done anyway. What is the logic behind this entire movement and attack? There's no way Amon wins in the long run. Interesting to see that firebenders use these cannons to shoot from. Does that help them shoot longer distances? I feel like it'd be a lot harder to aim though. I was thinking, with this shot, there would have to be some serious engineering behind the perfect earthbending ammunition at sea, right? We never see an Earth Kingdom warship in Airbender, so we never had to think about it. But you'd have to take into account the weight, dimensions, how much your average earthbending soldier can do with it, and how many your boat can carry, effectiveness due to size limitations, a bunch of different stuff. It's kind of an interesting question when you think about it. Oh, alright, that was a pretty cool move. I like that you can see the different symbols for the nations on these ships as you look over them. I mean, it's nice that Korra saves Iroh here, but also there's gotta be like tens, if not hundreds of people drowning here, right? Lucky she found just him.
Avatar Korra?
Yes, I see my ability to swim precedes me.
You saved my life.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Oh, never mind, they're fucking out of there. Holy shit. This is also like the same move Katara did that one time early on to save Aang from the Onagi, just like 100 times stronger.
And who is the recipient of this top secret message?
Commander Boomy, 2nd Division of the United Forces.
Now, whatever, sure, maybe this charming homeless man has a telegraph set up. But if the lines are down to the point where the police can't get through to anyone, what is this guy using to telegraph the United Forces? Do telegraphs not use phone lines? I thought they did.
Tenzin's brother?
Yes. Bit of a wild man, but the bravest commander you'll ever meet.
To me, bravest commander sorta translates to willing to get my guys killed. If he's a commander, he's probably not doing a lot of fighting himself.
Now comes the hard part. We need to ground those aircraft. Otherwise, Boomy's fleet will never be able to retake the city. Everyone get ready. We leave at dawn.
It's time to take down my father.
Yes, Asami, you've been paying attention as well, I see.
I'm sick and tired of hiding from Amon. It's time I face him.
Korra, this is not a mission you should be handling alone.
She won't be. I'm going with you.
My grandfather would respect the Avatar's instinct. So will I.
What the hell are you guys talking about? Friggin' Amon has never been in a more powerful position. You guys don't even have a plan. You're just gonna be like, alright, let's fight Amon. How? Where? When? General Iroh, aren't you like a military guy? Shouldn't you be like, now hold on.
Asami, I'm sorry things got so messed up between us.
Alright, so you guys are just kinda not together anymore? I know you've been really leaning into the Korra side of things, but nothing's officially been broken off yet, right? Asami just said some real I'm mad shit, but no breakup yet.
Good fortune and success to you, valiant heroes.
Man, Milo's hit hard times lately. This shot is flipped, I think. Every other time they come in or out of this tunnel, the staircase is on the left, but this time it's on the right. That's a long walk and not a whole lot of oxygen. I know the gang did it with way more people at the Serpent's Pass, but this is a long distance. How do we know that Amon has set up shop on Air Temple Island? I mean, we, the viewers, know, but how does Korra? As far as she should know, the Equalists just attacked it and took it over like the rest of the city. Who's to say that this is where Amon is? Is he just letting the people he equalizes go? Did they tell someone?
Amon wants extra security at the arena today.
The arena? For what?
The rally. You should have been briefed about this.
Oh, I'm stealing that.
I know another way in.
Why? Why is there this soulless hatch in one of the buildings? For what reason? Why did Aang install that?
Are there other prisoners on the island?
No. I'm the only one.
And what makes you so special?
I'm Amon's brother.
You should have been briefed about this.
With the help of his former gang, he escaped prison and underwent surgery to change his appearance.
Wait. Out of all of the tech this show introduces, this totally flawless face surgery is easily the most unbelievable. He just got a new face put on his skull? How the fuck? Don't worry about Ko anymore, guys. We got you covered.
You've come to me with a new face.
Before long, they started a family together. Amon was the firstborn, under the name Noatak.
I hate to say it, I think Noatak is kind of a chore to say, hits the ear like a brick wall. I will continue to call him Amon. Whoa, the volume of Tarlokk's water ball actually seems to shrink as he drops some. Nice. Take notes, M. Night.
When I was 7, my father took me and Noatak on a hunting trip, far away from our home.
Man, put some gloves on. Cold out here.
And that he was once a bloodbender of rare skill.
What's bloodbending?
The most powerful and feared form of bending in the world.
I mean, it's up there, for sure. I'll give you that.
It was declared illegal thanks to that coward, Katara.
Cool that Katara gets a shout out here and a call back on her disdain for the technique. Nice that it ties in a little with her.
You boys have this power inside of you, and I will teach you to master it.
Now, we know that bending isn't tied uniquely to it being passed down through your parents, because neither Hakoda or Kaya were waterbenders, and Katara is. But it's still definitely interesting that Yakon's daylight bloodbending seems to have passed down to his sons, despite it being taken from him. Yak. I think just yak. It's funny that in these flashbacks where there's supposed to be multiple full moons, we never do see one once. It's like, why? When there's supposed to be one, you don't give it to me? Wolf. I think just wolf. I think they made the animals they're using for bloodbending practice just normal animals so the viewers would feel more of an attachment to them. Like, oh man, don't hurt the doggies. Right, okay, so does this imply any bloodbender can do it? Like, I'm always a fan of limitations on powers. I think that makes them more interesting. And I thought, with how brutally overpowered bloodbending would be, that the full moon would be a good stipulation. Now, I'm not totally averse to having it be changed, but it would be nice to have a little more of an explanation than Dad taught us. And just for the record, the people that think platinum is a good limitation on metal bending, that's not exactly the point I was arguing in that other video, but we'll come back around full circle to the platinum thing later if we make it to the later seasons.
Mastering my father's psychic bloodbending technique by the time he was 14.
They even name dropped the psychic part of the bending here. Wow, that's crazy. Anyway, Ming-Hua is gonna get the brunt of the analyzation.
That's the way it's done. That's what you need to strive for.
I'm gonna get real pretentious here. You think Tarlokk's one loose strand of hair here is supposed to paint him as sort of a Zuko figure? Zuko also had that in a flashback, and also had a horrible, abusive father that set him on a terrible path. You know, Yakone started to look a lot like Yakone in his later years.
You always say bloodbending is the most powerful thing in the world, but it isn't. The Avatar is. He took your bending away.
Interesting. Amon gave some thought to Aang's ability to take bending away and figured out some weird back alley version of it for himself. We don't know a lot of the logic behind daylight bloodbending, and we know that Amon hangs around a lot with chi blockers. I always thought that with some twisted mix of chi blocking and bloodbending, taking someone's bending away permanently does seem pretty reasonable. I don't think it's that big of a leap, and it makes Amon uniquely threatening, so I think it's fine.
My father and I searched for days, but we never found a sign of Noatak.
He did do that one really sad penguin video, didn't he? Man, you guys vegetarian too? You got the same spread as Tenzin. Peppers and carrots and brown things. And the weird bread too, look.
I thought I was better than my father, but his ghost still shaped me.
Yeah, it is a little weird that you had this horrible, traumatic childhood that you hated, but then Yakone just died, and then you still just went along with the whole taking over Republic City thing. You just thought, totally removed from him, that it was still a pretty dope idea.
How did you figure out Amon is your brother?
When he took my bending, the sensation was somehow familiar. I later recognized it as my brother's bloodbending grip.
This is phrased awkwardly. You know it's for sure because it's your brother's grip? Have you been bloodbent by other bloodbending grips? You got a human-sized box in your basement, and you know how it feels to be bloodbent by multiple people. You're into some demonic shit, man.
How in the world do we beat him?
We can't. Any attack we throw at him, he'll redirect with his mind. That's how he's been able to challenge any bender.
Now, does this imply that while Amon does all his weird snaking dodges, that he's actually subtly bloodbending people to stay safe? I mean, he could do it without any body movements at all, so it would make sense. Also, if you think about it, why couldn't I just bloodbend my own hand or something and just fly around?
Thank you for your help. We can't just leave him here.
Skeletons in the Closet, referring obviously to Tarlokk's tragic past and Amon's secret identity as a waterbender, is one of the better episodes in the season, I would say. There's really only a few scenes, the big battle at the start, the shantytown regroup, and Tarlokk's flashback, and I'd call 2 to 3 of them pretty good. The battle is cool spectacle, it's still interesting to see how they do different action in this show, and I think they did the air and sea battle pretty well, and gave Korra an interesting vantage point of it. Tarlokk's flashback is what the episode really is, though, and for a backstory for him and Amon, it's pretty serviceable. It all comes down to Yakone teaching them daylight bloodbending, them them hating it and him, and then just doing what he wanted anyway. Which is a little strange, Amon less so because he has his own weird agenda, but the fact he's doing it in Republic City still makes it seem like he's doing his father's bidding. But overall, despite these questions that might pop up in your head, a pretty enjoyable, exciting, and interesting episode. Patron shoutouts if you want to see the next 2 episodes of Overanalyzing Korra ahead of the YouTube releases. You can support me on Patreon for just a few bucks. Link, as always, is in the description below the video. Biggest shoutouts of all go to my top patrons, Der 50 Kobold, who once played the song Cliffs of Dover while scaling the Cliffs of Dover. Keep to Yourself, who once opened a fortune cookie and the fortune was blank, making them truly the master of their own destiny. Kier Walsh, who actually does get a 10% speed boost if they wear one of those vests with flames on it. Laferg 13, who slipped on a banana peel but expertly had a second banana peel stapled to the ceiling, so they just did a cool flip. Nicolin's Photography, who can apply Snapchat filters to people at will, but they're real. It's horrifying. Queen Talia the Graceful, who took the whole Heelys idea and applied it to a sweater. It's sort of uncomfortable to glide around on your stomach, though. Roman J. Kopp, who could see through all of the googly eyes on the planet at the same time. He knows a lot. Stephanie Riches, who joined Hell's Angels and rose up the ranks very quickly. They have a dental plan now thanks to her. The former Meaning of Life, who found a throne made just for them, made of gold and diamonds, but there's a friggin' bike lock on it and they don't know the combo. The 1 a.m. party, who can't see in the dark but can always be seen in the dark. They don't glow or anything, they're just there. Thomas Lautenbach, who can turn off his sense of smell if he wants. He thought everyone could. Whitrow, who found a diamond the size of an apple and bedazzled it as a fun little project. And Jean Wei Fu, whose boss is starting to say they're gonna have to shut down soon if the Jasmine Dragon keeps taking all their business. However, his relationship with Sharon is really starting to blossom. And of course, my other fuck you money patrons, Aurora, Balm Your Candle, Catch Adorable, Cole, Dragon Shifter, Gene Cree, Jacob 1908, Lemon, Omega Fighter, Sean Martin, Tater of Tots, Tiago Nascimento, and William Fisher. And my god overanalyzers, 2 Boots Are Beat, 9Y2Y, A Moss-Covered Raccoon, Ethereal Catnip, Alan Garvin, Andrew Wattrett, Austin Gallup, Black Smeem, Blue Food, Bob Deff, Carlo Wren, Chandler Crump, Kobe Smith, Connor Gallery, Dead Rat Fiasco, Deathly Healer, Dizzy Pain, Dr. Xerox, Dominic Saint, Donut, Distant, Emma Not Emma, Aaron Grace, Gianluca Leandro Magi, JL, Jada Jones, Jackson, Jay Kogan, John Ojaka, Justin Fletchall, Kai D, Kelly, Lord of Mordor, Mac, My Mans, Mark Rethy, Medium D Speaks, Michael Fallon, Mighty Virus, Nick, Nicholas Abbott, Peter Bayron, Potato Scream, Reese, Rocket Mist, Ryan Gregorikos, Ryan Maxwell, Samuel Vanderplatt, Sean Flower, Spicy Ketchup, Super Snipper, and the long and short of it, Thiefy Mole, Thomas Graff, Turt Bobs, and some sort of bear face. Next up, Bookend.